Hi, this is Srinivas. Today we are going to discuss inheritance in Hibernate. Inheritance in Hibernate. This feature is not available in JDBC, but through inheritance we can save both parent object and child object into a database. While saving child object into database, Hibernate saves both parent object and child object into database. See, in Java we have two types of inheritance: is a and has a. But relational database management systems has only one relation, inheritance, has a relationship. Through this inheritance concept, we can map both is a and has a relationships into database understandable format. Okay. There are three types of inheritance concepts in Hibernate. There are three types of inheritance in Hibernate. They are: 1. Table for class. Second one, table for subclass. Third one, table for concrete class. So in Hibernate we implement these three types of inheritance in Hibernate. First one, table for subclass, table for class. In this hierarchy, we store both parent data and child data into a single table. For example, we have one persistent class, employee. This employee class has employee number and employee name. Okay, this is parent class. For this parent class, there are two child classes. One is hourly employee. Hourly employee has number of hours per day, hourly rate. Next, there is one more child, salaried employee. This salaried employee has only one column, one property, that is annual salary. Okay, these two are child classes of employee class. When I store hourly employee, it stores both employee data and hourly employee data into one table. Here database we have only one table, that is employee table. in this employee table contain employee number, employee name, next number of hours per day, next hourly rate, next annual salary. Next there is one special column, discriminator column. So this is employee table. In this table it contains these many columns. So if I store employee details like hourly employee details, if I store hourly employee details, it stores hourly employee data and employee data in this table. If I store salaried employee, it stores salaried employee data and employee data in this table. So in this approach, in this hierarchy, table for class hierarchy, database contain only one table. We store both parent data and child data in this single table. Okay, to identify particular employee, we use one special column called discriminator column. So through discriminator column we can identify which employee it is. This record is for which employee. So discriminator column helps us to identify which child. Okay, so here in this hierarchy we write only one mapping file with parent name, employee.sbm.xml. In this mapping file, through class tag we map parent to class, and parent to class properties. Next, to map child classes we use one subtag of class tag, that is subclass. Through subclass tag we map child class information. If number of more than one child is available for one parent, for every child we write one separate subclass tag. If number of childs are there, we write those many subclass tags. Okay, class tag. Okay, only in this table file for class we use only one SBM file. In this SBM file we map both parent information and child information. To map child information we use subclass tag of class tag. Through subclass tag we map corresponding child objects. Okay, to identify particular child class, here we use one special column called discriminator column. So we use this discriminator column to identify particular employee. Okay, now we will see how this table for class hierarchy works in programmatically. Okay, I written one program, one project called table for class. Here I written one parent class employee.java. This employee class contain employee number, employee name. For this every property we have setter and getter methods, and for this parent class there are two child classes. First one is hourly employee. This hourly employee is child class of employee class. Hourly employee has two properties. One is max hours per day and hourly rate. For these properties, I written getter, setter methods. Okay. Next, there is one more child class, salaried employee. This salaried employee has only one property, that is annual salary. Next, for this property, we have getter and setter methods. Next, I am writing only one mapping file, that is with parent name employee.sbm file. In this employee.sbm file, root tag is Hibernate-mapping. In this through class tag, I am mapping employee name, employee class, parent class. Next, for this employee class, I am mapping employees table. This is relational database table name. Next, here employee class has what? Employee number and employee name. For this one, through ID tag, I am mapping employee number with employee number column. Next, this is discriminator column. This discriminator column helps us to identify particular child. Next, for name column, name property, we are mapping name column in employees table. Next, to map our child class, here I am using subclass tag, subtag of class tag. In this, I am mapping first child class name, that is hourly employee, and this hourly employee is child class of employee class. Next, in discriminator column, to identify this hourly employee, by default I am storing value is hourly. This is discriminator column value. Okay. Next, this hourly employee class has two properties. One is maximum hours per day. I am mapping this property with column max underscore hours underscore per day. Next, there is one more property, hourly rate. We are mapping this property with hourly underscore rate column. Okay. Next, there is one more child for employee class, that is salaried employee. We are mapping this salaried employee with subclass tag of class tag. Next, this salaried employee is child class of employee class. To identify this salaried employee, in discriminator column, we are storing one value, salaried. While storing this salaried employee information, by default in discriminator column, it stores this value. Okay. To identify hourly employee, discriminator column contain hourly value. So if you store hourly employee information, discriminator column contain hourly. If you store salaried employee information, this discriminator column contain salaried. Okay. Next, I am writing one client application to store employee object, either salaried employee object or hourly employee object. This is table for class client application. Okay. See, first I created configuration, and through for configuration we are passing Hibernate configuration file. This configuration class loads this configuration.xml file. Through configuration object we are creating one session factory. Through session factory we are creating session. Here we are going to insert child objects into database. That's why we are creating transaction object to maintain transaction. First I am creating hourly employee object. Whenever we create child object, it creates both parent object and child object. So here first I am entering hourly employee details. Here to read command line arguments, I am using scanner class. Scanner class available from Java 1.6 onwards. Okay. So first I am displaying user to enter employee number. If user enters employee number, I am reading employee number by using scanner.nextInt. I am storing that value into where? Set employee number. This setter method is from parent object. Next, I am displaying one more message to user, enter employee name. If user enters value, we are reading that value by using scan.next method. Next method to read string data. After reading, we are storing this value into where? Name of employee by calling set name method of parent class. Next, we are displaying one more message to user, enter our employee hourly rate. We are reading that value, then we are storing this value into hourly employee object by calling set hourly rate method. Next, we are displaying one more message to user, that is enter employee maximum hours per day. Then after user enters that value, we are reading that value, we are storing that value into property by calling set max hours per day. Then so through child object, I am entering both parent object data and child object data. Here I am passing child object reference. Whenever we pass child object reference, here Hibernate stores both parent object data and child object data into where? In this table. So here we entered child object data and parent object data. Next, whenever we call session.save by passing child object, it stores both details into where? In this table, parent table. Okay. Next, again I entered salaried employee data. I entered salaried employee number, employee name, annual salary of employee. Here I am passing salaried employee reference. Whenever we pass any child class reference, Hibernate internally stores both parent object and child object into where? Into parent table. Okay. Now run this application. Run this application. See, if table is not available, by default Hibernate itself creates table for us. To create table, in configuration file we write one property called SBM2 DDL property. For this property, if you pass create, first Hibernate search table is already available in database or not. If table is not available, Hibernate creates table and stores our objects. Okay. Run this program. Run as Java application. Enter. Here I am inserting hourly employee details. Okay. Enter employee number 101, employee name Srinivas. Enter employee hourly rate 1000 rupees per hour. Enter employee maximum hours per day 10 hours per day. Next I am inserting salaried employee details. Employee number is 102. Employee name is Badri. Annual salary of this employee is 10 lakhs per annum. Okay. Here Hibernate framework generated two insert queries, one for hourly employee, another for salaried employee. Here it stores both parent object and child object, like hourly employee object and employee object, into which table? Only one table, that is employees table. Here also same. Here when we save, whenever we call session.save by passing salaried employee object, it stores both salaried employee object and employee object into employees table. Okay. In this hierarchy, it stores both child object and parent object into a single table. Here we map that table as employees. Okay. Select star from employees. Okay. This employees table contain both hourly employee information and salaried employee information. First we have inserted what? Hourly employee record. To identify hourly employee, here there is one, we used one special column called discriminator column. This column contain property as hourly, means this record is for hourly employee. To identify salaried employee, we are here type column discriminator column contain a value salaried. It means this record is hourly employee record, this record is salaried employee record. Okay. The main disadvantage of this hierarchy is the properties of child class must accept null values. See here, we mapped properties with columns in table, right? If you insert only hourly employee information, for hourly employee there is no salary, annual salary. Hourly employee contain hourly rate and maximum hours per day. But while inserting hourly employee information, annual salary must accept what? Null value. When you insert salaried employee information, salaried employee contains employee number, employee type, employee name and annual salary. For this record, these columns maximum hours per day and hourly rate columns must accept what? Null values. This is the main disadvantage of this hierarchy. So it creates some problems like key constants problem. So here we are not make these columns as not null column. If you make these columns as not null columns, it won't insert salaried employees and it won't allow to insert hourly employee. So these columns must accept what? Null columns. This is the disadvantage of table for class hierarchy. Okay, thank you.